So hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. So in previous video we have talked about that how to set up VS Code in your system, right? We have set a workspace for us and now we are going to work inside this workspace. So basically what we are going to do, we are going to write our first code in the Visual Studio Code, right? So you all have seen that how we have printed the hello world, right? So if I talk about further this print command, so whenever you want to print certain thing on the terminal, right? Whenever you want to print something on the terminal, how can you do that? We can simply use the print command for that, and then whatever I'm going to write inside that print command, that is going to be printed on the terminal. As simple as that. So let's say that if I just write print over there, let's say that something I write that this is my first class, this is my first class. And if I just run this particular program, you all can see that this is my first class is present in my output. Correct. All right. So you all can find out over here that this is the output present over there. Rest thing, let's say that if I try to print something more about that, let's say if I try to give a print statement of 3 plus 4, and then if I just click on the run button, you all can see that if I click on the run button, you all can see that class 7 is present over there. All right. So in this way, you all can have a code in Python. You all can write a print statement in Python. So now let's move forward and try to understand few things, right? So from starting, maybe you have heard about the terms that are known as like a compiler and interpreter, right? That how this code is executing and how we are getting the output. So let us quickly discuss the difference between that, what exactly the compiler is and what basically your interpreter is. So if I talk about your compiler, what basically the compiler is. So consider that you are having a programming language where you are writing a code, and in that particular code you observe that's a complete code, whatever I have written, 5 lines, 6 lines, everything is executing at a time. All right, that means that my complete code is getting executed while a single time. With the help of that, whatever code I have written, it is once converted into the machine language, and then it is going to be converted further to the output, right? That means that whatever code I'm writing, all at once is going to execute, right? All at once is going to execute. Now what is the problem with that? Problem with that is very simple, that whenever we have any particular error in any piece of code, let's say that you have a 10 line of code and I'm having an error at line number 6. Now, if you're using a compiler, what is going to happen? It will not produce any output. Why it will not produce any output? Because complete code is going to execute at a time, right? And it is founding an error in between. That's why it will not execute, right? So this is not a case in your interpreter. If I talk about interpreter, what happens in interpreter? Whatever code you are writing, that particular code is executing line by line. That means that if I'm going to write print hello world over there, and then if I write that print this is my class, and if I have written the print 3 plus 4, so if I just go back and make a change over there, if I just keep it up a capital P, so yes, let me just make it a capital P over there, and then if I write print, okay, like this. So capital P is basically wrong syntax, right? This is not allowed in Python. So now if I go and click on the run button, you all can see that I'm getting the output of hello world, I'm getting the output of this is my first class, but later on I'm getting the error as well. So this tells us about the difference between your interpreter and compiler, right? So what exactly happening in interpreter? In interpreter, your code is going to execute line by line. Line by line mean to say that first of all, the first line will execute, then second line will execute. Now you can see that on the third line, I'm having error. That is why it is generating an error for me. All right. So again, if I talk about interpreter, what is the scenario with interpreter? You all can get understanding that, sir, that interpreter executes code line by line. All right. That means whatever code I'm going to have, that particular code is going to be executed line by line. So if I talk to you about some more basic example, you all can think about a compiler to be like a whole book that you are providing, that a reader is, first of all, whole book is getting printed and then reader is trying to read it, right? But if I talk about your interpreter, what is going to happen in interpreter? The reader will read the book and then particular book is going to be published further. So again, if I talk about the Python uses a hybrid kind of technology where first of all, this particular code that you are having, it is going to be converted into the bytecode, that is IPYC basically. And after that there is a Python virtual machine that we are going to refer as a PVM. That particular PVM will interpret it line by line, and that is why you all can notice this thing, that whatever code I'm having, it is executing line by line for me. All right, so this was the basics of your interpreter and compiler, and we all can get understanding that the interpreter that the Python that we are writing the code, it is using interpreter at a side. So let's keep it small p. Let's again run this piece of code. You all can see that this is not giving me any kind of error now. That is completely all right. Okay. Now next thing, you all can notice one more thing, that's you have written something that compiler all at once, and you have mentioned a hash over there in front, right? What exactly this is? So these are basically comments in Python, right? So in Python Python, whenever in any programming language, whenever you are going to work and you want your code to be with the documentation, right? You want that I want to add certain kind of text with the code that should not execute. So for that, I have a comments in every programming language basically. So in Python, how can we have comments? We will have comments with the help of hash, right? Let's say if I'm writing hash, now after hash, whatever content I'm going to write, that will be treated as comment. So if I talk about comment, everyone, what is comments? Comments are basically known as a non-executable code. What it is? It is basically known as a non-executable code. It is known as a non-executable code. Chalo. All right. So this was scenario till now. Till now we have discussed about comments, we have discussed about compiler, we have discussed about interpreter. So I guess that we are good to move forward towards the next concept in Python. So what is the next thing, everyone? Next thing is that we are going to talk about now variables. So we are going to talk about variables now, what exactly variable is and what is the scenario in variables. We'll discuss about this. So variable, I guess that you all have heard about this term from the childhood of the mathematics, right? In class 7th, 8th, you all have heard about the term that something is known as variable, something is known as constant, right? So a very simple definition, if I try to give you of variable, that what is variable, a very simple thing is that my variable is something which has a ability to vary, right? A very simple word. If I try to break this name variable, someone which is having a ability to vary. Ability to vary mean to say that something whose value can be changed. That is something which is known as a variable. One more thing, that it is a container. One more thing I'll say, that it is a container that is going to hold a value for us, right? That stores a value for us. That stores a value. Now, what values you can store in a variable? Any kind of values, right? Let's say that if I want to store my name, if I want to store my age, if I want to store any boolean value, true, false, what boolean values are there? We'll learn about this again. But yeah, whatever value you want to store, you all can store in your variable. That is going to work perfectly fine. All right. So as I told you that what is variable? Variable is a container that stores value. Correct. All right. Now let's have a look at how can we create a variable in Python. So if I talk about creating a variable in Python, what we have to do, we simply have to name a variable. Let's say that for now we are writing name A. There are again certain naming convention that you all need to follow. Let's say that if I'm writing the name as A and I'm going to write that A equals to 10. As simple as that, A equals to 10. And now if I go back and try to print the value of your A, and if I just run this piece of code, you all can observe that 10 is the output. Correct? You all can see at the bottom that 10 is the output. So let me just make a terminal clear for you all so that we can have a better understanding. Clear terminal. And I will just comment it out everything from here that we have discussed earlier as well. So I'll just comment it out. How can we comment? You call, if you want multiple things to comment at a time, what you can do, select it and give control plus backslash in Windows or your command plus backslash in your MacBook, right? So right now you all can see that A equals to 10 print A. If I just run this piece of code, you all will observe that 10 is the output. Correct? So this is how you all can create a variable. This is how we all can create a variable in our Python program. But everyone, we cannot create variable like out of the sudden that this is how I'm going to create. There are certain rule for that. There are certain naming convention for that you all need to follow. So what are the naming conventions? Let's quickly discuss the naming conventions in variables and see that what rules we need to follow. So I'll say that rules for variables. So whatever things are there, I'm just going to write over there as a comment. You all can see this thing. So let's quickly discuss the first rule. The first rule states me that, sir, whenever you are going to name a variable, whenever you are going to assign name any variable and we want to assign a certain value, the first rule states that the name of variable should begin with alphabets or underscore. So please make sure that whenever you guys are creating a variable, the particular variable should start with any alphabet or underscore. That means if I have any variable, my variable name cannot start with any number, cannot start off anything else. So it is going to start only with alphabet or underscore. How can it? I will say that your ABC is going to be, let's say that 20. If I go back and try to print the value of your ABC, just write ABC over there like this and do it command plus S. Save this code and again run this piece of code. You all can see that 20 is the output. Correct. You all can see that 20 is the output, right? And let's say that if I want to give a name as underscore AB and if I write underscore AB equals to 10 and if I just go back, let's say 100 now, and if I just go back and try to print the value of your underscore AB and run this particular code, you all can see that I have 100 as the output at the below, right? I hope this is visible, right? You all can see that 100 is the output. So the first rule is clear that, sir, the name of variable should begin with your this kind of thing that we are having, that let's say that alphabet or underscore. What is second rule that you all need to take care, everyone? Second rule states me that, sir, name of variable, the name of variable that I'm having, name of variable cannot begin with numbers. So please make sure that if you're creating a variable, whatever variable you create, the name of the variable should not begin with number. It should not begin with any kind of number, right? So let's say that if I try to create a variable, I will name the variable as 1 2 3 ABC, and let's say that 1 ABC only, keep it 1 ABC only. And if I do that, let's assign a value 15, and if I go and try to print the value of 1 ABC, so everyone, you all can see that if I just go, you all can see that a red color kind of thing is there. This red color represents error for me, that my code is having certain error. If I run this page, everyone, you all can see that the error, if you try to read the error, it is telling me that invalid decimal literal, right? That means whatever I have written over there, that is invalid, that is not correct, right? So make sure that whenever you are creating a variable, the variable should not begin with any number. Alright, so this was the second rule that we need to take care of it. We will not be naming any variable with the help of your numbers. So I'll just make it comment out. Sorry, I'll just make it comment out once, and then we are going to see what is next. So next thing is that, next rule, let's discuss quickly the next rule. What is next rule that you all need to take care? So next rule states us that we cannot have name of variables cannot have any special character except your underscore. That means that whatever name of variable I'm giving, the name of variable cannot have any kind of special characters except the underscore. The underscore is only allowed, only allowed special character that we can use in our code, right? Let's now come down and try to see this thing. How can we understand this? So let's say that the name of variable that we are going to use now, let's say that if I'm going to say that, sir, I have a variable name abc@d. If I'm going to write like this, that it's going to be 20. And now if I go back and try to print the value of your abc@d, and then run this piece of code, you all can see that if I just go and run this piece of code, you all can see that cannot assign expression here, right? Maybe you mean double equal to or something like that. That means that it is expecting that it should be something else. It should not be underscore, right? So what does it state? It states that I cannot have any of the, basically we cannot have any special characters in my variable name except the underscore. So underscore is only allowed a special character that we can use in our variable name, right? So again, I would like to make it comment for you. I will just give a comment again, and let's now come down and let's say that let's create a one more variable. So let's say that right now I'm creating a variable, and variable name starts with abc@20 equals to, let's say that 120 kind of something. If I go back and try to print the value of your abc@20, right now you can see that this is how my this variable is looking like. You can see that starting with alphabets. All right, done. Underscore, as rule number 3 states that name of variable cannot have any special characters except underscore. That means underscore is allowed completely. All right, we are having 20 later on, no matter wherever I want to use any numeric character, that's completely all right. So this naming convention is completely okay. If I run this piece of code, you all can see that 120 is the output that I'm getting. So these are the ways in which you all can have a variable name. One more thing I will recommend you all, just that if you are using a variable name, the name of variables, please try to take care of that. The name of variable should not be any keyword, right? That means that if I'm using any variable name, the variable name should not be any keyword. It should be proper name. What is keyword? Keywords are basically the name that are already defined in Python, right? So if I talk about keyword name could be your print, keyword name could be your if, keyword name could be your else, could be your for, all kind of things. Please take care that we are not using these reserved keywords that are present in Python. We will not be using it as a variable, right? So let's say that if I'm going to write that, sir, if is going to be equal to 20, like this, correct? If I go back and come down, and now if I try to print, just run this piece of code, you all can see that I'm getting error, that invalid syntax, that is not correct, right? So please make sure of this thing, that whenever you are naming a variable, you are following the rule. So I would like to just make a summarize for you, just a simple rule that you all need to follow. You can include the underscore you can include anywhere in the code. Next thing is that you can have your alphabet, you can start it with alphabet, you can end with alphabet, you can use alphabet in anywhere, right? Third thing is that numeric numbers, make sure that your variable is not starting with a numeric value, and then you can use a numeric value anywhere in between. Does not matter if I'm writing A123, A234 kind of thing, that's completely all right. Okay, so everyone, if this is fine till now, so I would like to give you a small task, right? I would like to give you a small task. Pause the video for you once and then try to guess that what exactly the scenario is. So the task is that I'm giving you that I have a variable @ equal to 5 and I'm trying to print the value of @. Okay, you all have to guess that whether this is correct name or not. Next is if I'm writing that A123 5 equals to 20, guess that whether this is again correct name or not. And again, let's say that if I have one more variable, sorry, if this variable is going to be, let's say that anything could be @123 equals to, let's say that 100. So you all have to say that whether these things are correct name or not. So if I just come down and try to print the value of your A123 5, and if I again come back and if I say that print the value of your basically @123, and if I just go back and run this piece of code, you all can see that these are the perfectly fine names. It is working completely all right. Now, why these names are allowed, why these names are not giving me any error? Again, try to debug this. First of all, the very line number 33, you all can see that we are having underscore over there. Underscore means that things are completely all right, no issue in that. Perfect, fine. Next is your A123 _ 5. What is this A123 _ 5? This means that again starting with alphabet, does not matter how many number of numeric characters I'm having in between, does not matter if I'm having the underscore or not, that's completely all right until it is any other special character other than your underscore, right? Next thing, again underscore given by 123, that's also completely all right. And this is how the variables are going to be present over there. So all right guys, so I hope that the variables are pretty fine for you all. You all understood the concept of variables, how to create variable in Python, and how can we have rules that we all need to take care before naming a variable. So what we have learned in this video so far, guys, we have learned about that how we can have a print statement, what things we can print with the help of Python, and then we have seen that how the code is going to be executed, right? We were having the compiler, interpreter, and we have seen that Python uses interpreter to compile the code, right, to run the code basically, right? Next thing, we have learned about the rules for variable. We have learned about that how can we name a variable, how can have a different things inside that, and then we have seen some cases that where the variable names are correct. All right, so all right everyone, so we will continue further after this. We are continuing the data types, so stay with us. That's all everyone. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Bye bye, take care.